Thank you for joining us at this remembrance and tribute ceremony to honor the life and legacy of our beloved president, our good friend, Bill Henrich. He made an indelible mark on so many of us here today. I'm Rob Promis. I'm acting president at UT Health San Antonio, and I'm honored to host this event for Bill. Didn't think I was going to get through it, and then Sylvia Zerwas gave me a big hug and said, "You got this." And Andrea Marks walked up and gave me a big hug and said, "You got this." And Cisco and Taylor Amy said, "You got this." So I'm going to try to get through this. I always thought Bill Henrich was immortal. He projected such energy and cheerfulness that it never occurred to me that he wouldn't be with me my entire career. When the chancellor called about 3.5 weeks ago to tell me that Bill had passed, I was stunned. Rhonda Safdie and both gasped at the same time. I never considered there was an illness or a setback that Bill could not conquer. I sat in my office later that day thinking he was going to pop his head in, as he often would, at 7 a.m. and say, "Hey, let's go get a Starbucks." Big grin on his face, happy to start the new day, excited about what we were going to do together. During Bill's 15 years here, he transformed our campus. One day, he and I were walking back from our hospital partner, University Hospital, and we paused at the top of the stairs, the other side of campus. And I said, "Bill, just let's stop a minute." And I pointed out all the buildings that had been constructed while he was here. The Academic Learning and Teaching Center, the Multi-Specialty and Research Hospital opening in December, the Center for Brain Health, the Medical Arts and Research Center, which sees 2,300 patients a day now, the South Texas Research Facility, which led our doubling of our NIH funding from $60 million to almost $140 million this year, the Barshop Institute for Aging and Longevity Studies, several other smaller buildings. Our massive campus looks like what it does because of him. The expansions of bricks and mortar are impressive, but we can't overlook his remarkable ability to build collaborative teams, totally aligned on one purpose, one mission, to build our university to greatness, to take great care of patients in South Texas, train great doctors, discover the next generation of medical care. He possessed a unique gift for bringing together individuals from all kinds of backgrounds, disciplines, to work harmoniously together towards these shared goals. He instilled a culture of teamwork, mutual respect, collective responsibility, inspiring each of us to contribute our talents to the greater good of our university. In doing that, he transformed our character and our culture. He gave us the courage to be creative, to push the envelope, to do things we never thought possible before. We were, and we are, not afraid to fail because we felt him behind us, standing behind us. We felt he had our backs. He's the reason why so many of us joined UT Health San Antonio. He cast a vision for building a comprehensive health center in South Texas that would be as good or better than any other health system in the entire country, but do it without stepping on each other's heads to get higher ourselves. He said this was really hard. To keep one's values while growing so fast, it's easy to compromise. But we've done both, and we will continue to do so to honor him. One evening last week, I sat at my computer thinking about who was going to lead a new multidisciplinary clinical program that we were putting together for the west side of San Antonio. And I thought, hey, I'll call Bill. Literally thought, I'll call Bill. Literally whipped out my phone until I realized I wasn't going to be able to call him again. When I would meet with Bill to ask his opinion on some difficult, complex decision, half the time he wouldn't have a good answer. But he was so reassuring, I felt better afterwards anyway. He said, "I know you will figure it out. I believe in you." And I'm here because he believed in me. You're here because he believed in us. He believed in the us of shared goals, shared values, shared energy and creativity to reach the sick people of San Antonio and South Texas. A few days after he passed, the deans and vice presidents and I were gathered in the conference room in the administration building, and we were trading stories about Bill. I remember when he did this, and how about when he did this, or he said this. Some of us couldn't even speak. Many of us were choking back tears. We each felt a huge hole in our hearts, and we were sharing stories to try to fill that hole in each other's hearts. That shared grief really bonded us closer together. I think I see many of the people sitting in the audience that were here around that table, the couple hours we spent sharing our memories of Bill, reaffirmed our commitment to each other to fulfill his vision to make lives better right here in San Antonio. It occurred to me at that moment that maybe Bill really was immortal because he lived within our memories and our hearts, that we would carry him with us wherever we would go. We would never forget him. His character and his values would inform our decisions every step of the way. You're here, I see people from all different jobs in the university because Bill took the time to say, how you doing? Shake your hand and give you a hug. And in so doing, he was the glue that held us together. Now we have his character and his values is that glue in his place. Let's not forget that. Bill was so beloved that the leaders of the entire UT system came down to remember him together with us. And we're going to ask them to share their memories of Bill. We've asked Chancellor Milliken, who is the glue that holds the whole UT system together, to say a few words. J.B. Milliken, please, the mic is yours.
Thanks, Rob. So it's my great honor and privilege on behalf of the University of Texas System Board of Regents to join you today to celebrate the remarkable and impactful life of our friend and loved one, Bill Henrich. So, as you all know, at least as well as I do, Bill was a transformational leader at UT Health San Antonio. As we just heard, served for 15 years as president, a time of remarkable, substantial progress, the capstone of a distinguished career as a prominent specialist in kidney diseases. To Mary, the Henrich family, on behalf of the University of Texas System and all of our institutions, we extend our sincerest condolences, and we thank you for sharing Bill with us. We're deeply grateful for the profound impact he had on UT Health San Antonio and the entire UT system on healthcare, on research, and education. His exceptional legacy is now forever part of the essential history of this institution and the state. To the UT Health San Antonio community here and those who are watching online, we share in your sorrow and your sense of loss. Bill Henrich was not just a boss. He was a visionary leader, a tireless worker, a brilliant physician, a supportive mentor, a good friend, and above all, a kind and compassionate man. Bill's journey was marked by incredible resilience and courage in his valiant battle against cancer, where he emerged victorious in 2012 to continue his steadfast service to UT Health San Antonio and to take it to remarkable heights during that extended run. His commitment to the institution's mission of treating and curing and educating was unwavering, a testament to his character and his dedication. He oversaw groundbreaking biomedical research initiatives against a backdrop of a campus and cultural transformation that Rob just referred to, leaving an indelible mark. Today we reflect on his life. We share some stories and some memories that illustrate his deep love for his institution, for his family, also his modesty, his personal mission, his sense of humor. So I've known Bill less than most of you. I first met him in 2018 when I joined the UT system. By that time, he'd had a long and successful career with the UT system and with other leading health science centers, culminating in his presidency here. When he began his tenure here, the institution was certainly strong, but it grew tremendously and successfully under his leadership. He'd be the first to say that that success is attributed to all of you, not to him. But we all know the role he played. And while I have known him only for these past 6 years, I'm going to share a few of my memories which are important to me. The first is just his story. So a number of years before I met Bill, his life came to a critical juncture. Several years into his presidency, he was hit by a devastating cancer. Although nothing close to the threat of Bill's disease, I have some personal experience with cancer, having gone through surgery, radiation, and chemotherapy the year before I came to Texas, which Bill talked to me about a lot. I know, as you do, how that experience refocuses your life, how it forces you to take stock and decide what's most important to you, that you realize in a much more acute sense how precious life is, and that it's important to treat each new day as a gift that you should cherish. Everyone would have understood it if Bill had packed it in then. No one would have questioned the decision that following such a brush with death, he would step back and spend his life spending time with his family and his close friends, away from the 24/7 demands of leading a major academic health center. But of course, that isn't what Bill did. I have no doubt he reflected long and hard on the importance of spending time with his family and friends, but with their support, when faced with the choice of how to spend most meaningfully this new lease on life, he chose to devote it to others. The next 12 years was a selfless and all-in commitment to UTL San Antonio, to his cherished colleagues, to the many thousands of students and patients it serves. We and many, many others have been the beneficiary of that decision. So some years into his extended run, COVID hit. And we all changed the way that we worked, and Bill and his colleagues, all of you, managed the challenges of that pandemic masterfully. At the same time, the way that we work together as presidents and as the leadership of the UT system changed completely. We stopped meeting in person. We started meeting at 6:30 several times a week on Zoom, of course, starting in March of 22. You got to know people a little differently then when you met on Zoom at 6:30 in the morning. I saw a lot of presidents in what my family refers to as their soft clothes. That was not the case with Bill. 6:30 in the morning, I got to see Bill in Mary's kitchen, very clean, by the way. Bill standing there in his most relaxed state, which meant he had on a very starched white shirt and a beautifully tied, lovely tie with no jacket. That was by far the most informal I ever saw him. Most of the time, however, he was in his office with his jacket on at the Zoom. Personally, I perfected the gym shorts, shirt, and sport coat look at that time. So I always told Bill that he was the best dressed person I knew. And he kidded about it stuff. But I was completely serious, and I think he knew I was serious. In another generation, he would have been the man in the Hathaway shirt, except without the patch and without the hair. Now, I realize only the people in the senior set have any idea what I'm talking about here. But I believe that this dress was not just a personal choice. It wasn't a trivial thing. It demonstrated an enormous respect for others. That's why it always made me smile when I walked in the room and Bill was there or on screen, impeccably dressed, with a radiant and kind smile and a keen sense of humor. I believe he knew what he was doing with this persona and with his dress, and it made a difference. A defining moment in my work with Bill came a few years ago when he came to see me. He was depressed, seemingly devastated. A very big plan that he had been leading for years to dramatically advance UTL San Antonio had abruptly fallen apart through no fault of his or anyone here. I'm not going to rehash the details, but it was a stunning blow to Bill. He built a major part of his plan for the future around this initiative. It was a signature initiative in his leadership. My colleagues and I were sympathetic. We understood his anger, his frustration, his sense of loss. I wasn't exactly sure how I could help him, though. His partner had withdrawn, and the plan was dead. I asked Bill to go back to San Antonio, to meet with his team, and to come back with a new strategy, a big one. I assured him the Board of Regents and I would support his new plan with the same kind of financial commitment and energy that we would have put behind the old one. He didn't seem sure what he would do, but he did go home. It took all of about 2 weeks. He called me. He was excited. He had a new plan. He came to Austin to brief us on this ambitious and detailed plan. He gave all the credit to his colleagues, saying that they had regrouped and responded to adversity so well. But of course, it doesn't happen without leadership, without Bill's leadership. The project he described that day is well underway nearby and represents a transformational evolution of this institution, a fitting capstone to his indefatigable and resilient leadership. It was a lot of hard work, very different from what had originally been planned, but it's better. And it could not have happened without Bill. And aside from that first conversation in my office, when he was still reeling, I never heard a single discouraging word. He was so positive and upbeat, and I know that attitude spread throughout the leadership team and across the campus. I'm so proud of what he and you were able to do. This should be a case study in a book on leadership. And if Rob Romas doesn't beat me to it, I'm going to write that case study. But I'll always remember the lesson that Bill taught me. That spirit, that optimism, that positivity, and were irrepressible elements of Bill's being, and they're what we celebrate today. And we will remember them and honor them in a number of ways. I know there will be many honors and gifts in memory of Bill, as there should be. But Bill was tremendously gracious in always sharing the limelight with his colleagues and his family. It was always evident that Bill was devoted to his family and they to him. The stories from John and Emily at Bill's funeral mass were moving reminders of the bond their family enjoyed. John's incredible gift to his father gave us all 12 more precious years of Bill's friendship and his leadership and his impact. Emily's constant support of Bill and Mary during the most difficult moments was essential to helping them move forward. And Mary, anyone who knew Bill even slightly knew how devoted he was to you and how your partnership, spirit, and love was a fundamental part of his life and work every day. And while so today is a celebration of Bill, a man we loved and missed deeply, we want to make a small gesture to recognize the importance of Bill's family to him and to this institution, and in the broadest sense, to the role and essential nature of compassion in healthcare, something deeply important to Bill and demonstrated by Mary, John, and Emily. To recognize the beautiful example from this family, today, on behalf of the Board of Regents and the UT system, we announce the Henrich Family Award for Compassionate Care, an endowment which will provide in perpetuity a recognition and significant financial award to a member of the UT Health San Antonio community who has demonstrated the qualities we all see in the Henrich family. The award will be given annually to a frontline healthcare worker nominated by colleagues or patients, one who has demonstrated the qualities reflected in Bill and Mary and John and Emily, treating everyone with compassion, empathy, and respect. Thank you, Mary, and your family for sharing your remarkable husband and father with us.
Thank you so much, Chancellor Milliken. I think you captured the essence of so many of Bill's endearing characteristics perfectly. Next, I'd like to ask Executive Vice Chancellor for Health Affairs, Dr. John Zerwas, who trained in anesthesia right here, to come up and say a few words. A wonderful friend and an outstanding mentor and advisor. John?
Ooh, those are bright lights. Thank you all for having us there today. On behalf of Sylvia and myself, we were incredibly touched to be invited to speak to you all today and to share some thoughts about Bill. I have to say, Rob, coming after you and the Chancellor, I'm not sure I got to scratch through some of these things, but how many times can you say such great things about Bill Henrich? There's not too many things that you can say. And, you know, I think this tribute today, celebrating this remarkable leader, a true leader, and a beloved friend. And Bill, serving as president for 15 years in this esteemed health science center, embodies the very essence of integrity and devotion and empathy, things that we've heard already spoken here and will likely hear more spoken. I have some beautiful words here in front of me that I could share. But I want to share with you just some personal experiences with Bill that very meaningful to me. And it starts with just, you know, his, who he was. I mean, he was a gentleman. He was a statesman. And he always outdressed me, like the Chancellor said. So instead of the white pocket square, I went with the multicolored pocket square to try to differentiate myself from Bill. He still outdressed me. He was taller than me. He looked better in a suit than I did, you know. So, but and we used to laugh a lot about that. And truly, I think there was one Zoom meeting, Chancellor, that he did not have a tie on, and it stunned us. We said, "That must be your pajamas, Bill," you know, because you had to. Where is the tie? I mean, it threw us all off, you know, and stuff. And had lots of great laughs, and that, of course, was in your kitchen, Mary, and just a great time that we enjoyed each other. You know, Bill had an incredible, you know, gift, a gift of mentorship, and to me personally, mentorship. Rob, I know you felt this. Many in this room have felt this. Everybody here that has had the opportunity to speak, but all of you have felt that mentorship and leadership. And so as I reflect on his life and our time together, you know, we first met in 2009, it was. I was a member of the Texas legislature at that time, and I happened to work on a committee that signs the checks for everybody, so I was always everybody's best friend, you know, but Bill came forward really as truly a wanting to be a friend, to make us aware of each other. He knew my background as a graduate from Baylor College of Medicine, He knew my background as a resident and a little stint in surgery and subsequently in anesthesiology. He knew about my kids. He knew about my family and everything that had grown up together. He had done his homework. And it was from that moment on that we had a very lasting relationship, friendship, some of it certainly as, as elected official to, president of a great university, but always walking away with that sense of friendship, something that is a very unique gift for people to be able to share with others out there. And that gift of friendship is probably one of the most important things in my life that he gave me. But as a mentor, he taught me, how to lead. Sure, I'd had leadership opportunities in the past, but people from this institution taught me how to lead. Francisco Cigarroa taught me how to lead. The chancellor teaches me how to lead every day. And Bill taught me how to lead kind of in the words of, something of another person that is very typical of successful leadership. And it's that ability to rally women and men to a common vision and a character that inspires confidence. A character that inspires confidence. That's Bill Henrich. That's the person that you've enjoyed all these many years in this role. Now, he will be the first, as the chancellor has said, to attribute it all back to you, and that's appropriately so. And he truly believed that. That wasn't just words. That's truly something, a gift that somebody as a true leader, somebody that can rally people to that common vision and to that common purpose is a unique gift and talent. I'm so glad I had the opportunity to be mentored by him from that standpoint, and I'm so proud of what he has done at an institution that has a special place in my heart, not just because I did my time of training here, but 3 of my 4 children were actually born in this city. So I have a very nostalgic place in my heart for the University of Texas Health Science Center in San Antonio. He's also somebody that you could trust. I mean, he was the essence of trustworthiness. And another good friend of mine, former CEO at Memorial Hermann, would share his definition of trust. And it's just that intuitive sense of confidence that somebody will be there. Rob, you referred to it. Always had your back. That intuitive sense of confidence that somebody will always be there for you, whether it be the person or whether it be the institution. Bill was somebody that I knew I could always trust. I knew I could always reach out to for counsel, and that the counsel would be very, very well thought and well conceived. And he also delivered it with an incredible smile. I mean, do you see any of these pictures up here at Bill Henrich not smiling? I started to count them before the program began, and I said, he smiles when he talks, That's a gift, to be able to do that, But what a wonderful, trustworthy person that Bill was and lives in all of us to this day. And the other thing that I think of when I think of Bill's mentoring is kindness. Bill was a kind soul. He was a kind soul. He had empathy. He had sympathy. He cared for people. He had affection. Now, I wasn't obviously participating in the affection style of things, but I did see that at his memorial service a little over a week ago. His affection for Mary, for the kids, and incredibly so for those grandchildren. I've seen pictures up here, holding those grandchildren. And we had conversations about that as fellow grandfathers. There's nothing we want to talk about more than our grandchildren. And he could talk me down on his grandchildren, I'm going to guarantee you. I could hardly get a word in edgewise on it, He was a proud family man, a proud husband, a proud father, and an incredibly proud grandfather. Yes, he had kindness. He had affection. He had all those attributes, and many, many more, that as a mentor, people like me, people like y'all, have benefited from. He's not with us today, but he's here with us in spirit. And we know that his legacy is going to continue for truly generations to come. Those of you who have trained under him, have gotten the benefit of that. Those of you who have been colleagues of his in any capacity at this Health Science Center will continue to benefit from Bill Henrich and his life. And what he would say often in his speeches to people and talking, Texas is counting on you. The people of Texas are counting on you. In fact, the world of humanity is counting on you to continue the great work that you're doing. Continue that great work. Love, Bill. Thank you.
Well said, Dr. Zerwas. Bill had a gift to build deep relationships. I look around the room and I see so many people who probably counted him as one of their best friends. I certainly did. And he probably had 100 best friends. One of the relationships he cherished the most was with the man who brought him here. When Dr. Francisco Cigarro, who is now head of our Transplant Institute, was president of this university, he recruited Bill to be dean. And that relationship grew from there to become extremely deep, such that when I first met Francisco and Bill together, they were inseparable, like two brothers. And so I'd like to ask Dr. Cigarro to come up and share a few memories of Bill. Francisco?
August the 7th of 1946 was a beautiful day in our world, as William Lloyd Henrich, who we all knew as Bill, was born in Detroit. His mother was Margaret William, who was a former mezzo-soprano, and his father, Thomas Lloyd Henrich, worked in the movie industry. And Texas's Lone Star shined more brilliant when the Henrich family moved to Richardson, Texas, when Bill was only 5 years of age. I am certain that Bill was nurtured in an environment of love, surrounded by music, literature, and compassion, amplified by both the performing and the visual arts. These nurturing elements instilled in Bill a genuine compassion, an ability to listen to all people, including our vulnerable patients and their families. These are tributes necessary in becoming a great physician. All of us who knew Bill knew that he was a master of language and a master of being able to speak beautifully. He also had an innovative curiosity necessary in succeeding as a physician scientist and as an educator, and becoming a great president, leading our Health Science Center into one of its greatest periods of growth and success. As important as these successes were to Bill, his greatest success was being a wonderful husband to Mary and a father to John and Emily. I first met Bill in 2005 when I was recruiting a dean for a wonderful school of medicine. The first thing I noticed was his radiant smile. We've heard about that today. His radiant smile and a sincerity of purpose in his vision to lead our medical school in its mission of education, service, and research. For me, it was an instant connection, as I knew that Bill held my same values of treating every individual with respect, while also having a purpose of providing our citizens with exemplary health care, the greatest education possible for our medical students and residents, the promise of discovery that would make lives better, and a love of his wife, Mary, his children, and family. I did not hesitate even a nanosecond to offer Bill the position of dean for our medical school, as I knew that his moral compass was unwavering to our mission, and his human attributes reflected values that are extremely important to me. My decision was only reinforced when I met Mary. We established a beautiful professional bond and friendship that helped us inspire our faculty and staff towards a new momentum of excellence, allowing us, and together all of us, to transform our clinical mission and to excel in education and research while overcoming challenges, including our quest of retaining our National Cancer Institute designation and providing outstanding cancer care to the region that we serve. That was very important to Bill. So a professional relationship, or even a friendship, is tested when challenges are confronted. And in our case, both relationships were only strengthened as we navigated both opportunities and challenges. In 2009, I resigned as president of UT Health Sciences in San Antonio and became chancellor of the University of Texas System. I was truly overjoyed when the Board of Regents appointed Bill as president of our Health Science Center, as they instantly observed what I saw when I was interviewing Bill for the dean of our medical school. They instantly embraced his vision for our comprehensive academic health center. Bill's tenure as president will be remembered as a period of unprecedented growth for our university, linked with compassion, humanism, and a quest for excellence, which resonated with our community, our city, Texas, and our nation. On that day, August the 7th of 1946, Bill's parents whispered into his ear, and they told him, dress well, wear a great tie and a handkerchief, but more importantly, Bill, make our world a better place and to improve the people of our great nation and world. It is not a surprise to any one of us that Bill exceeded his parents' expectations. As for me, I've lost a chosen brother, but my life will be forever be enhanced from everything I've learned from Bill. My memories of treasured moments, our laughters and tears, and a friendship that will never be forgotten. Bill indeed made our world a better place. Thank you.
I see so many here today that keep the lights on, that mow the grass, keep the water running, make sure the toilets work, keep the paint on the walls. And Bill met each of them at where they were and built so many strong relationships. But what are you doing when you keep the lights on? What are you doing when you keep the water running? What are you doing when you make sure the door is painted? You're saving lives. Bill forged a collective accomplishment towards a single goal, to have one more person walk out of the hospital alive, because we all did this together. When you make sure that floors are clean, when you make sure that the instruments are put away, you make sure the schedule's out, make sure the door's locked, what are you doing? You're saving lives. Together, we're saving lives. And the person that holds all that together, that coordinates all that work that no one sees, is Andrea Marks, who Bill loved. He was her partner in administration. I like to call her the spine of the institution. She holds us upright. Andrea, she's our COO. Andrea.
Thank you, Rob. Many of you know that I worked closely with Dr. Henrich for almost 15 years. And for some reason, I struggled with what to say today. Mostly because when it comes to Bill Henrich, there is so much to say. You've heard much of that already. But as Dr. Zerwas said, you cannot hear it enough. We cannot say it enough. What he envisioned for this health science center and the progress made under his leadership for all those that we serve has not only transformed our organization, but has also transformed each one of us. Rob recounted his phenomenal impact very well. Dr. Henrich made us all believers. Believers that San Antonio and this region deserve the very best in education, healthcare, and discoveries to improve human health. And he made us believe that we were the ones capable of delivering it. He came to San Antonio, as you heard, in 2006, and convinced us that we were capable of transforming a mid-tier health science center into a premier academic health center focused on serving the public good and building a better tomorrow. His ability to inspire was remarkable. We all experienced his incredible ability to captivate an audience with his storytelling and quick wit. But he also sold the dream of success and personal fulfillment through good works to the entire organization. He recruited the best of the best here, and he did it all with humility and honesty. Quite frankly, we are all in awe of how he did it. You've heard that over and over today. You see, Bill was extraordinary, but he was also ordinary. He had an exceptional ability to diagnose a complex medical problem. He loved the opera, but he also loved movies and cop shows. In fact, he often quoted the movie Chinatown. And he got many of us hooked on the series Bosch, which is about a flawed homicide detective. In fact, if he were here today and you hadn't seen it, he would sit you down and convince you what a riveting show it was. Go figure. He was ambitious and he was humble. He was sophisticated, yet he never took himself too seriously, even with his impeccable dress. He worried about everything, but he loved to laugh. He never said the work would be easy, but he promised that it would be rewarding. He found great reward in the work because he genuinely cared about the well-being of others, and he modeled that every single day. When Bill passed, we were inundated with stories of how he touched people across this campus by helping someone get care or sharing a small word of encouragement in the Starbucks line. He always took a genuine interest in people. He noticed you, he acknowledged you, and he made you feel special. If you were at the President's Forum in October, you'll remember that Dr. Henrich had recently discovered Taylor Swift. Much later than the rest of the world, I might add. But he was fascinated by her Eras tour, and he made the analogy to the eras of UT Health San Antonio. He believed we were entering our best era after decades of tireless work. Bill's vision has led us to where we are today, with prestigious national rankings and best employer status in Texas multiple years in a row, all to the benefit of our community, all due to the leadership of one humble yet remarkable man who believed in us. As I reflect on what Bill meant to me, I have one overwhelming emotion, and that is gratitude. I am so grateful, not only for what he gave this place, but for what he gave to me personally. I am grateful to have known him, to have benefited from his wisdom, his enthusiasm, his friendship, and I'm not gonna lie, his sometimes frustrating but loving demand for my best every single day. I am grateful that he made me better than I ever thought I could be. He made us all better. And he let us help make him better. He listened, and he made us feel important. He surrounded himself with skillful and brilliant people that he knew could fulfill what we are destined to become. So thank you, Dr. Henrich. I promise we will fulfill your legacy and indeed make this the best era yet. There is one person you have all heard to whom Bill gave credit all the time for his success and for keeping him on his toes, and that's his extraordinary wife, Mary. She is a partner, mentor, and friend to all of us. She has been a steadfast anchor that has helped hold our UT family together. And at this time, I'd like to ask Mary to come to the stage and share a few words.
Rob, I did my part today. I've already been to the ophthalmologist today. Thank all of you for coming. Bill always said that I married him because he was really cute in high school. After 54 years of marriage, I will tell you that cute fades, but what I married him for and what never faded was his unbelievably wonderful sense of humor. He was funny, but he was never funny at your excuse, at your expense. He was funny about himself. So I will love and miss that forever. Chancellor, thank you so much for the wonderful gift that the Board of Regents is going to give us to remember Bill. It will truly make a difference in so many lives. John Zerwas, thank you for being the wonderful doctor that he knew you were, and for helping everybody who is in Austin understand the positions of doctors and what they do in the world, and particularly in Texas. Rob, thank you so much. He so admired you. Rob said last night that there's a wonderful report that puts the Long School of Medicine up very high in the rankings these days. In the 30s, Rob?
We're not supposed to announce that.
We are announcing it. Okay, keep it secret. And Andrea, thank you so much. When Bill would go to the Chancellor's office with a new idea, it was wonderful when the Chancellor and John would not laugh when Bill said, "And all I need is $40 million from the Regents." Thank you so much. Because then he would come home and he would go in Andrea's office and say, "Andrea, I might have lied to the Regents. I really need $80 million, and you have to come up with the other 40. So he loved this team so much, and he loved all of you, and he can best explain how much he loved you by this video. And it was not a goodbye video, it was a video about you. So thank you all for coming today. I will always treasure this day.
Thank you, Mary. Bill said these words about you in a previous issue of our Mission magazine. Mary is brilliant. Her wisdom and counsel and unflagging support are a personal blessing. She is warm, kind, and sincere. I'm so proud of her and consider it an honor to have her by my side. Mary, we all loved you just as much as we love Bill, as you know by all the hugs and tears we gave you last night. Thank you for coming today. I know it took some effort. Thank you. I also want to take a minute to express to the Texas community, specifically the University of Texas system, and I don't see Rhonda. So Chancellor Milliken, Vice Chancellor Zerwas, Rhonda, Safdie. They have been so warm. Stacy has been so warm and so helpful to us to get through this time. Thank you. The genuine outpouring of support has been deeply appreciated. San Antonio Express News, in their editorial on Bill's passing, wrote, "It is impossible to overstate Dr. William Henrich's contributions to San Antonio healthcare as president of UT Health San Antonio." Just a few days ago, the Express News also announced that once again, UT Health was voted the best medical group in the entire city, a testament to fulfilling Bill's vision of creating an integrated health system for our city and for South Texas and the world. Bill's legacy will be continued in many ways. Thank you, Chancellor, for the gift to support an award for the most compassionate healthcare worker. We've also started a student scholarship, the William L. Henrich Memorial Endowed Scholarship of the University of Texas Health Science Center at San Antonio. And you can access mechanisms to donate to that on the Institutional Advancement website. Today, the City of San Antonio issued a formal certificate of commendation posthumously for Bill for honoring his incredible accomplishments to the city. As we conclude today's program, I'm the last speaker. You have under your seat a luminary, and we're going to first hear a video message of Bill, as Mary mentioned, as he was saying he's heading off to a stem cell transplant, because I do think it casts a great vision for our future. And then after that is over, we'll have a performance of Bill's favorite aria, Nessun Dorma by Puccini. When that is finished, you're dismissed. And we ask each of you to take with you the program and the luminary candle, and we have a lunch for you because you've spent your lunch hour with us. Thank you so much. The video.
It is important to remind ourselves that we have undertaken these bold steps to fulfill the purpose for which we were created. Very simply said, to serve the public good, which we endeavor to do through our missions of healing and care, discovery, education, public service. These missions of service reside at the very heart of our institution. And my sense is in the hearts of everyone who is a part of our university. It is our collective commitment to continue on this path, recognizing that our work can never be considered done, but always striving to make tomorrow better than today. For everyone, our missions touch. And while we have much to be proud of and so much to celebrate, we have so much yet to accomplish. So many people are depending on us, counting on us to be successful in our missions. Our noble work helps these patients, helps these families, educates these young professionals, delivers research, advances that benefit everyone, everywhere in the world. I have confidence in you to make the lofty goals we've established for our institution reality.
Nessun dorma, nessun dorma. Tu puria principessa, nella tua fredda stanza, guardi le stelle che tremano d'amore e di speranza. ma il mio mistero è chiuso in me. Il nome mio nessun saprà, no, no, sulla tua bocca lo dirò quando la luce splenderà ed il mio bacio scioglierà il silenzio che ti fa mia. Nelle guardate tramontate stelle, tramontate stelle, all'alba vincerò, vincerò. Vincerò.